I froze with the ultrasound photo still in my hand. My heart hammered as I read the message from my ex, Ethan. Congrats. I heard the news. Guess your husband's the lucky one. My stomach turned cold. I hadn't told anyone yet. Not my friends, not my coworkers, not even my own parents. Only my husband, Ryan, knew. And his mother. That's when it hit me like a punch in the chest, she told him. My mother-in-law, Carla, had taken the single most precious moment of my life and handed it to my ex like gossip at a church bake sale. My hands shook as tears blurred the photo in front of me. This wasn't just invasive. It was humiliating. And right there, standing in my kitchen, I made a silent promise. She was going to regret it. What would you do if your mother-in-law announced your pregnancy before you even had the chance and told your ex first? Tell me in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more true stories like mine. Before all of this, my life felt like something out of a cozy Pinterest board. I worked as a freelance graphic designer from home, sipping coffee by the big bay window every morning. Ryan and I had been married for just over a year, and while his mom, Carla, could be a bit much, I thought we'd reached a decent balance. Carla was the type of woman who needed to be in control of everything: family gatherings, holiday menus, even what color our couch pillows should be. I used to laugh it off, thinking it was just her way of showing love. Then came the day I found out I was pregnant. It was a crisp Tuesday morning, sunlight spilling into the bathroom as I stared at the 2 pink lines. Ryan and I cried, hugged, and agreed we'd keep it a secret until we were ready to announce. But Carla had been suspicious. She'd been asking me constantly if I was feeling tired or craving weird things. Against my better judgment, we told her early. I thought she'd be happy, and she was. Too happy. A week later, my phone buzzed with that text from Ethan, my ex. My chest tightened as I put the pieces together. There was no way he'd know unless Carla had told him. I felt betrayed, not just by Carla, but by the trust I'd given her. She'd stolen the most intimate moment of my life and turned it into her own announcement. I sat on the edge of the bed that night, clutching my phone like it might burn a hole through my hand. Ryan found me there, silent tears streaming down my face. What happened? He asked, panic flashing in his eyes. I showed him Ethan's message. His jaw tightened immediately. She wouldn't. But I cut him off. She did, Ryan. Who else could have told him? He sat beside me, rubbing his face with both hands. He didn't deny it. Instead, he said quietly, I'll talk to her. But talking didn't feel like enough. I felt violated. This was supposed to be my moment. The day we'd imagined telling our parents, surprising our friends, laughing at their reactions. All of that was stolen. The next day, I called Carla myself. My voice shook, but I managed to keep it calm. Why did you tell Ethan? I asked. Oh, sweetheart, I didn't think it was a big deal, she said, her tone maddeningly casual. He's practically family. I thought he should know. He's my ex, Carla. My voice cracked. And it was my news to share. She sighed dramatically. You're being too sensitive. People were going to find out anyway. I hung up before I said something I'd regret, but my blood was boiling. For days, I couldn't sleep. I imagined Ethan laughing about it with his new girlfriend. Imagined the pitying looks from people who heard before I could tell them. I felt stripped of my agency, my privacy, like Carla had decided my story wasn't mine anymore. Each time I replayed her dismissive voice in my head, the anger grew sharper. I didn't just want an apology. I wanted her to understand exactly how deeply she had hurt me. And slowly, that anger began to take shape into something else, a plan. I stopped answering Carla's calls for a while, which drove her crazy. Every time her name flashed on my phone, I let it go to voicemail. I needed space and time to think. Ryan tried to play peacemaker, reminding me that Carla meant well, but I wasn't ready to forgive and forget. She had taken something from me, and I was determined to take something back. One night, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open, scrolling through Pinterest boards and Instagram announcements. That's when the idea came to me. If Carla wanted to be the center of attention so badly, I'd give her the spotlight, just not the way she expected. I began drafting my own announcement. But this one wasn't just about sharing the news. It was about setting the record straight. I pictured the look on Carla's face when she saw what I had planned. The thought almost made me smile for the first time in days. The following Sunday, we had a family dinner at Carla's house. Her idea, of course. I showed up early with Ryan, phone in hand, heart pounding. Dinner was tense. Carla tried to act like nothing had happened, chattering about baby names and nursery colors like she hadn't ruined my announcement. I smiled politely and waited until dessert was served. Then I stood up. "Before we go any further," I said, holding up my phone, "I have something I'd like to share." Everyone turned toward me, Ryan, his dad, Carla, even Ryan's younger sister. I tapped the screen and played the video I'd made, a beautifully edited pregnancy announcement featuring Ryan and me, smiling, holding the ultrasound, and a short caption that read, "We wanted to share this moment when we were ready, not when someone else decided for us." The room went dead silent. Carla's face drained of color. "Are you implying?" I looked her straight in the eye. "No, I'm stating it. You told my ex about my pregnancy before I could tell my own parents. That was wrong, Carla." Ryan put a hand on my shoulder in quiet support. For once, Carla didn't have a comeback. She sat there, mouth opening and closing, before muttering something about needing air and leaving the table. The rest of the family stayed quiet, but I noticed Ryan's dad give me a small, approving nod. As I gathered my things to leave, I felt lighter. For the first time since this nightmare started, I had taken my moment back. Driving home that night, I stared out the window in silence, letting the tension drain from my body. I had been terrified to confront Carla in front of everyone, but doing it was like tearing off a bandage I'd been afraid to touch. For days, I had been drowning in anger, obsessing over how to make her feel what I felt. But standing there at that dinner table, saying the words out loud, I realized something. My revenge wasn't about humiliating her. It was about reclaiming control. Carla had treated my pregnancy like gossip, like a piece of news she could spread for attention. By making my announcement public, on my own terms, I had taken back my story. Ryan held my hand as we drove. "You were amazing back there," he said quietly. "I think she finally got it. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. But it didn't matter as much as I thought it would. What mattered was that I didn't stay silent. I learned that sometimes revenge doesn't have to be cruel to be effective. It just has to remind people, and yourself, where the boundaries are. And for me, that was enough." In the weeks that followed, something shifted in our family dynamic. Carla didn't call as often, and when she did, she was noticeably careful with her words. She never apologized outright, that wasn't her style, but she stopped asking invasive questions and didn't bring up Ethan again. Ryan and I focused on enjoying the pregnancy together. We hosted a small gender reveal with just our closest friends and my parents. I'll never forget the look on their faces when the confetti burst into pink. That was the kind of reaction I dreamed of from the beginning. For the first time, I felt fully present in the joy of what was happening. No more worrying about who knew or how they found out. I also noticed something unexpected. I felt closer to Ryan. Watching him stand by me during the confrontation, support me even when it meant challenging his own mother, reminded me why I married him. Carla even surprised me by sending a small handwritten card a month later. It didn't say sorry, but it did say, "You deserve to share your moments your way." I'll remember that. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. I had learned that protecting my boundaries wasn't selfish. It was necessary. And from then on, I made a quiet promise to myself. No one would ever take away my voice again. Looking back now, I realized that my revenge wasn't about hurting Carla. It was about finding myself again. I had let her steal my moment, but I refused to let her steal my power. Standing up for myself reminded me that my voice matters and that I have every right to protect the things that are sacred to me. Sometimes revenge isn't about anger. It's about reclaiming your story. What about you? Have you ever had someone cross a line like this? How did you handle it? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like mine.